Turning to business now with Nona Peltier. Nona, the Reserve Bank has left the official cash rate at a record low and expects it to be on hold for longer than previously forecast. Why is that?
Well, you know what, this is interesting. We have been looking at an official cash rate of 1.75% for quite a long time. I think it's the 12th time it's been left on hold.
So is that 4 years?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, it's got to be at least
long
3. And it's a good long period. It's not 3. It's a long period though, 12 times. And so what does it mean? Well, we got a new Reserve Bank governor, Adrian Orr, and he thinks that there is economic growth and the inflation is rising. But how, when, we don't know exactly. So has pushed back the idea that rates will change to 2020. Which is a long time. We were looking at the end of 2019. That is, a significant difference. Now, he says there are some risks, though, that maybe the economy won't take off. Maybe inflation won't rise. And these are because of the surveys we've seen recently. We've talked a lot about the negative business confidence surveys, the negative consumer confidence surveys. And he said if these things come to pass, if people basically don't invest because the confidence is such that they don't, this could really go the other way, in which case our OCR, or the official cash rate, might go down as opposed to up. We don't even know at this stage, and that has unsettled the market significantly. We saw our Kiwi dollar drop more than 1% on the news. So once the market absorbed what the Reserve Bank governor said, it was like, whoa, the Kiwi dropped a little bit, and then it dropped a bit more, and it hit quite a low. So it started out just before the announcement at 67.5 US cents, and just recently, just a little while ago, was at 66.7. So that's a significant fall. At 90.7 Australian before the announcement, and now 89.7. The pence has been holding up at 51.8, but that's more because of what's happening in England and Britain rather than what's been happening here locally. So, interesting. We're probably going to see a little more uncertainty here, and perhaps for on the plus side, people who are looking to borrow money can count on interest rates being low for longer, and it's not a bad thing for exporters either.
So it was quite a surprise for analysts then?
I think so. Was it? I mean, we've seen so many of these surveys, and we have even heard Treasury suggest that perhaps these surveys might translate into lower drop in economic growth, less than what the government is expecting or counting on. So probably not a big surprise. However, never mind, the market hadn't priced that in, so that's why we saw the currency fall. Yeah.
Sure. Fonterra's shares are in trading halt. There's a bit of a question mark over its earnings forecast.
Yes, so the Fonterra surprised us just before midday with an announcement to the market asking for a temporary trading halt. They plan to let us know what's happening tomorrow before the close of business, so that's before 5 o'clock. They're saying that they've basically been working on their annual financial results, so they are going to report their full year result, I guess maybe in September, for the period ending July 31st. And now they're reviewing it, and they've said, well, we're not exactly sure whether our earnings forecasts will match up with what we actually have in the bank. So we'll see what happens with that. But basically, normally when we see a trading halt like that, it's usually material. It's usually a downgrade. It could be another kind of announcement, but it doesn't seem likely. It would be a huge surprise if it was on the upside, because we've seen in May, Theo Sparings came back and said that he thought that the margins that they were achieving would mean that they wouldn't meet their earlier guidance. Now, they made a guidance just when they announced their interim result. Their interim result was a $348 million loss. They made a loss because they had to take a write-down on Danone. That was a settlement. They also took a very large hit on Beingmate, which is their Chinese investment, $405 million. Now, at that time, I interviewed the chief financial officer, and he thought that that was all the damage that they were going to have to write down. But now who knows what
Perhaps
it is.
further write-downs.
It could be. It could be anything, but for sure, it's definitely going to hit their bottom line. And, you know, it's been very disappointing. And of course, now the chair, we know that the chair has left because of ill health. And Theo Sparings has already signaled that he's going to be stepping down. So at the top table there, we're definitely seeing some change in leadership. For shareholders and farmers, there's going to be a lot of, well, if this is a disappointing markdown, and that is not going to go sit well with their shareholders or the farmers that are counting on this company to deliver for them.
So does the company have to make an announcement before the close of trading tomorrow because it's the end of the week?
Well, they'll have to say something. Whether they say we need more time, we'll come back to you on Monday, they have to say something. They've said they're going to come back to the market before the close of business tomorrow, and so they will. We weren't able to figure out exactly what the situation was. I mean, their underlying profit last year was just over $1 billion. Is it going to be the same? We don't know. I mean, it's a lot of money. This is a big company in New Zealand. It's a cooperative. It's important to our economy. Dairy's a huge income earner. So for this company to underperform in the way that it has over a prolonged period of time, it's going to be a real disappointment.
Right. Now, you've told us what the dollar is doing, but what about the markets?
Well, the markets didn't do too badly. Yes, we rose nearly 0.8%, 68 points up to 8,940, which was a pretty good day. Now, there wasn't really anything standing out there, but you know, overall, the Asian markets have lifted, and I guess it's because I think maybe could be that the U.S. government has imposed some sanctions on Russia. There's so much global volatility. No one really knows what's happening out there.
Thank you, Nona.